everyone. Happy International Student Day here, Hospitality Student Day. We're just so excited, everybody here for 2024. It's just a great day that we are having. I'm Deborah Gardner, your host here, your high energetic host for sure, author, keynote speaker as well. But we are here for the legendary HSD24, powered by Grand Valley State University Hospitality and Tourism Management Program from the dazzling Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're particularly bursting with excitement to have all of you, yes, you, high schoolers, college students, university students, and anyone else that's involved and interested in the future of hospitality. You are our rock stars from around the world tuning in for this all-day virtual International Hospitality Student Day 24 show. And oh, are you in for a treat with our next guest? Oh yes, you're about to meet someone who's not just a business architect, but a full-on superhero in the world of business events. Now, this guest is a maestro at building communities and a leader at the helm of the world's largest network for business events, providing top-notch personal and professional development, networking, and market international and intelligence as well. I'm talking about the one and only President and CEO of PCMA, Sherrif Karamat. Now, Sherrif is a CAE, which we're going to find out more about this, but I really want you to stick around because this is going to be good. PCMA, President and CEO, Sherrif Karamat. I just am so ecstatic that you are here. I know you're very busy. You just flew into Mexico and just rushed to your hotel room to be here with us today. So welcome, sir, to International Hospitality Student Day 24.
Delighted to be here with you, Deborah, today and with Grand Valley State University. This is absolutely fantastic. And happy celebrations to all of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody that's interested in the hospitality profession is here with us today worldwide. And I want them to know you're no stranger to Hospitality Today live broadcast show. And we are your biggest fans. So thank you so much for joining us here again.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So now I know the students always like to know where everybody got their education or how they got into the hospitality profession. And you've got an MBA in international business with York University. Now, a lot of us in hospitality, we kind of sort of stumble into hospitality by accident, even me. Was your vision or your path always planned to align with your studies, or did you find yourself falling into this amazing industry like the rest of us?
Deborah, I fell into this industry. While my path was to be in sports marketing, I wanted to be a CMO for a baseball franchise or even a CEO for a baseball football franchise. It would just so happen I started out working for a soccer team in marketing and even stadium operations. And the league fell on some troubled times, and when that happened, the owner of my team owned 9 hotels and got me into the hotel business. So it's been not totally an accident, but I cannot say that when I was in school, this is what I was going to do for my career. What I could say though to you, Deborah, and all the students today is that I am so lucky that someone found me, because I would want to do nothing else but this.
I can see why, because you're very good at it. You are one of the top leaders in the industry and a great representation as well, including with being the president and CEO of PCMA. So can you tell us what PCMA stands for? What kind of business events are represented? Who belongs to the membership, and a little bit more insight into all about PCMA?
Yeah, well, PCMA is for event organizers and on the demand side, the people that organize events. And you could think anything from the Olympics that's just concluded to a medical conference or a pharmaceutical conference. All, everyone in between, a technology conference, an AI conference, they all belong to PCMA. The role of PCMA is to use business events to drive economic outcomes and social outcomes, and using that platform to help cities and countries to drive economic growth through startups, through research, through university research, and bring industry, government, and of course all the supply side of the industry together to drive economic growth for individuals, organizations, and their communities. As well, SEMA is for the corporate event marketers, and corporate event marketers, they are primarily on the tech side. These are companies, everyone from Microsoft to Google to SAP and so forth, and they're all event marketers that are using the platform of events to drive their company strategy, drive their sales pipelines, drive their engagement with their customers. So it is quite the industry, and I'm telling you, any one of our students today, there's a rich career for you.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm so glad you brought up SEMA, CEMA, right? What does that actually stand for, so they know?
It actually stands for the Corporate Event Marketers Association. And so everyone, if you think of an event marketer that may work for Cisco in the marketing department or in brand department that puts on events for Cisco or Microsoft, those are the folks that belong to SEMA.
And from what I understand, not only PCMA, but SEMA, there's opportunities for students to actually get or receive firsthand experience in multiple ways with both of these organizations?
Oh, for absolutely sure. I mean, our goal is to make sure that we are bringing up the next generation of leaders, the next generation that will come into our industry, that will continue to develop and grow this industry and take it from where we leave it. So, for example, PCMA, just in US and Canada, has 25 student chapters, but we also have student chapters in Europe, and in Singapore, and in Australia. And it's easy to start a student chapter. I could give you information on that, but that's one angle, a student chapter. But we have a scholarship for students in student competition. You don't have to be a member to do that. And then we also have a program, Deborah, called 20 in their 20s. And this is about young people who are doing interesting things in the business event space, or the event space, if you want to call it that, that can actually share their knowledge with the rest of the world. Adults can learn from our students, as well as students can learn from the adults. So we want to make sure that exchange. So there's a global competition that happens every year that students can apply for, and part of that groups of different universities can apply for it. Well, we scholarship up to 4 students, fully paid, air, hotel, registration fees, and everything included, to attend convening leaders. So they can, and it is just a superb opportunity for students and could be a part of their curriculum. We also have other programs. We have a portal for internships where they can go online and say that they're looking for an internship, and our associations, our corporations post their internship opportunities as well. So either way, it really help these students.
Oh yeah, and there's multiple probably other opportunities that we don't even have time to cover today, but it's just a
No.
matter of students showing their interest by really just, finding out what, PCMA is all about, what SEMA all about, because I believe it's all about hands-on experience, whether I would imagine you graduate or if you're not graduated yet, right?
No, absolutely not. You don't have to be graduated. We have chapters around the country, and students can get outside of the student chapter. Students can get involved in the PCMA chapters that they can actually meet potential employers. It's a huge opportunity. One other thing that I wanted to mention to all the students is that we have a series of scholarships every year that we give out so they can apply for, that helps them with their tuition fees. I just want to make sure that those students know that there's multiple avenues for them to be assisted, both financially as a resource, but also through mentorship and other forms of support that they might need as they think of their career progression.
And all it takes is to ask, right?
And that's sometimes a difficult thing, right? Sometimes students are intimidated to ask. I know when I was younger, Deborah, I was, I was so naive and intimidated. And I got to tell you, I was, yeah, I was. But today I feel that it is time to pay it forward, and it and I am just delighted that what Grand Valley is doing, and I'm delighted that students are have the platforms and the opportunity today that they can engage more and further their career faster.
Yes, and I hope they take advantage of it because it wasn't there when I first started. So I think taking that opportunity to see what's out there and take advantage of it, because there's a lot of talent out there that we are looking forward to bringing into this industry. And this is the best industry, and it'd be great to see that happening because there's a lot of things that people can learn, even like what you just said earlier, learning even for top leaders like yourself. You're a constant student in this industry, and you've got the skills like your CAE, which I would like for you to explain to them what that is. Volunteerism at your level. Why would you even volunteer?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, I think all of us in this journey of what we call life should be lifelong learners, and if we're lifelong learners, we will continue to advance our careers. So I encourage all of you to be lifelong learners. Of course, I did my MBA and I did quite a few other postgraduate studies, but I took a designation called CAE, which is a Certified Association Executive. And it's offered by an organization called ASAE, the American Society for Association Executives. And that was, if you will, a foundational course to help you as you if you're desirous of leading an association or want to be in association management. So it certainly teaches you much about rules and regulations, but the laws that govern associations, and which is something that I found very helpful. So I will absolutely encourage all of you to look at the business events industry as a career opportunity. I do want you all to know that there's so many avenues for you to accelerate your career, and start anywhere. Don't start from where you're at. Don't worry about anything about tomorrow, but be a voracious learner. Be a sponge, so that you can understand the pathways that are in front of you, and then you can listen. You can do something, and you might say, "Hey, this is not the avenue I want. I want to go in a different avenue." You will have hundreds of different types of opportunities, whether you're in a corporation, you're in an association, you're on the supply side or the demand side. There are so many different opportunities for you. And we want to be able to expose those opportunities for you, and we want to make sure that you're exposed to them so that you can, you can make some good career choices.
Absolutely. Very well said. Absolutely. And so with that, the business side, the events and meetings, how is that different to the tourism side? So they know that distinction.
Sure. And I want to make maybe three differences. When people travel for business, so you attend a conference, you are using hospitality assets. So you will use, for example, an airline. You will use a hotel for accommodations. You might use a restaurant for meals, and go to a convention center for your meetings. But the focus on tourism is more leisure, more vacation, and so forth, going with your families. But the focus when you go on an event, on a business event, it is about conducting business. It is about either advancing and learning, or networking, or building business and business opportunities and networking opportunities. So that your purpose, while you might use hospitality assets and tourism assets, you're not really there for that. Your focus is not sightseeing, it's not attractions. Your focus is to achieve, whether you're in the medical field, whether you're in a tech field, you're in the financial services, you are trying to either build a sales pipeline, you are trying to further the sciences if you're hematology, for example, or you are trying to grow your audience for an association. So the objectives are very, very different, and you're there really to work. Whereas tourism, you're there for leisure with your family, with your friends, and having much more a different experience than necessarily a business event.
Great explanation. Because a lot of these students take classes and hear that difference, but to hear it from the president CEO of an organization like PCMA and SEMA, it's just so nice to see the clarity of explaining the description between the two, so they can decide which way do they want to go. So that's great.
Yeah, and Deborah, for the students, I want them to know that you can start out in hospitality and tourism, and you can actually graduate into the business event side. I know many folks who have done that in their careers, and it's just gives you a much more diverse way to look at things. One experience benefits the other benefits the other. So it could actually give you a much more well-rounded way of looking at your career. So the sky's the limit for you. You've got the opportunities. Whatever excites you most, whatever you feel more passionate about, I would pursue that avenue.
Well, and then on the international side, when we have visitors coming to the U.S., I mean, for example, in 2023, international visitors injected more than 200 billion into the U.S. economy. I mean, international visitors love to spend money. What about those that want to work in international? Is that the same feel? What's the difference? You're very worldly on this, so I knew you'd be the perfect person to ask.
Well, there's so much international opportunity around the world, but at home we have, for example, we have many associations in the United States that are global associations that take their events around the world. So it's an opportunity if you want to stay in any city. If you want to stay in Grand Rapids, for example, but you can work for an association that's global, and you could be going around the world. Alternatively, you can work for an international association that's based in Brussels or somewhere like that, and you could actually go and work there and live there and experience that life, and you will still be traveling around the world. But organizations, I just want you to think of the magnitude. For example, if you're working for the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, or next year, 2020, I think it's 2026, the United States, Canada, and Mexico will be hosting the FIFA Soccer World Cup. think about the dollars that they will be bringing into our economy on an annual basis in business events, not tourism, business events. Business events delegates, participants spend $1.07 trillion. If it was a country, it would be the 13th largest country in the world. So the opportunities they abound. And, I'm encouraging you to jump in with both feet, start from where you're at.
Yeah.
Don't stress about tomorrow. Stress
Right.
about being the best of where you're at and
Very
get
good.
noticed, and you will get noticed.
Very true, very true. And I get so excited when you talk about sporting events, or maybe, even the New York Comic Con that just happened, or the Olympics that are coming in 2028. I mean, that is going to be huge. So even though even though they might be in the industry, whether it's working for hotels, restaurants, associations, they're all going to be impacted, or even working for that particular event. It's all of us coming together to make international visitors, or even domestic visitors that will be visiting these areas, because that happened quite a bit for the Paris Olympic Games. They had a big showing for those that just lived down the street. So
Absolutely. I just came back from the Paris Olympic Games.
That's right, you did.
And the head of corporate events for the IOC is on my board. And so when they come to the United States, specifically Los Angeles, in 2028, the whole country will be involved in this, not just Los Angeles or California, the whole country.
Wow.
And the opportunities, if you're in a hotel, if you're in the airline industry, if you're in the transportation services that are ground, the opportunity, that's from the hospitality side.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of special events that happen. There is security, there's healthcare, there's fire, there's numerous things that make up the ecosystem of a game, and that of the games period, that you can be engaging in it in so many ways, and it will be an experience of your lifetime. It will truly be an experience.
Cannot wait. It's but then it's all types of live events that we have, not even just sporting. It's just all kinds of different live events.
Well, you think about recently, Deborah, you think about the RNC had their convention in Wisconsin, and now you have the DNC having their convention in Chicago. These are massive events that can bring upward of $200 million to an economy just in a matter of a week. And so the opportunities, and it's also an opportunity for you to volunteer, just to get your feet wet. So many different avenues. Think of anything. If you think of anything, you think about a wedding, for example. It's an event, right? You think of everything is an event. We call them business events, but there's all these planning and logistics and strategy that goes into make something very successful. Right. And you need a group of stakeholders that will help you to make that successful.
It doesn't matter if it's 10 people, 500, or 5,000, or 500,000. That is an event, and it always needs some detail to it. Yep. Thank you very much. Now for students to understand a little bit about what you've been through with your journey, what kind of life lessons have, so that they don't make the same mistake or the same challenge that they have faced? What lessons have you learned, and how have you overcome them?
Oh, I've had many lessons, and I've made my fair share of mistakes. But when I started out, I had parents that were very supportive, but also always used to tell me that try not to be the smartest person in the room. Try to be able to be in rooms that people are smarter than you, that you can learn from them, and be a better listener than a talker, so that you can absorb what's going on. The second thing that I had struggled with, because interestingly, when I was younger, I was much more of an introvert than I was an extrovert. And I remember going to my very first association meeting, and it was a luncheon, but I knew no one. And I remember two people, one from Boeing and one from IBM, took me under their wing and said, "You will sit with us for lunch," and just made me relax, and I had an opportunity to meet with, to be sitting at a table that I would have never thought I would be invited to, but just the fact that I opened myself up and allowed myself to people to invite me in, gave me an opportunity. So the first lesson is, I say that make yourself accessible. I know it's difficult, and sometimes intimidating when you go to these rooms or to these events, but most people are willing to help. They want to help because they've had similar experiences when they were younger. So try not to be intimidated by the event that you're at. Try and make sure that you're opening up and you're saying hello, and you're just introducing yourself. Believe you me, that's going to go a very, very long way. The second thing is that if there's an opportunity that comes your way, um, whether it's to learn something, to meet someone, take advantage of it. We all are the captains of our careers, and if we are going to set our careers on fire, we have to be the strong captain that we need to be. And so that means that you've got to put yourself out there. There is nothing wrong with falling on your face. We are going to fall a few times, we're going to fail, but what happens in failure is usually the time we learn. Success doesn't always bring learnings. It's usually through our failures that we learn. And I stumbled quite a few times. I mean, I made mistakes. When I was in the hotel business, I made a bunch of mistakes, but they were all part of making me a better person, and a better leader. And I think that don't be afraid to be vulnerable in that sense, and own your mistakes. Do not hide from them. And I would say that that would be a weakness of a person if they don't own their mistakes.
Well, we are one of the most forgiving industries in the world. And as a matter of fact, we're one of the largest, above pharma and auto and so many other industries. I think we're like number two behind the government. I think we're that big.
Yeah,
So how can you avoid it? How can you avoid this industry? And I think stumbling and learning from your failures was a brilliant piece of advice. So I hope the students really realize that everybody's in the same situation when they come in, and we haven't forgotten, even though it's been years ago. But we would really want to open our doors and invite, from the Gen Zs all the way even to the boomers. Some we've got late bloomers as well that enter this industry because they found out how fun it is.
absolutely. And there are people who transition in their careers.
Yeah.
That that
Nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing
yeah.
wrong with that, definitely. Well, I'm so glad that you were able to join us. I do have one other important question to ask you, because I know all the students would really like to know too, is what actually does this, especially this first annual International Hospitality Students Day 24 mean to you?
Well, you know what? It actually brings me incredible joy. I believe that to celebrate this industry, to be recognized for the power that this industry has and the career opportunities, the fact that we are recognizing it as a day, it is tremendous. I Why it's so important to me is because when I was younger, this didn't exist. Programs that like Grand Valley State is offering didn't exist. I'm not that old, but I am older than all of you, and these opportunities didn't exist. And the fact that we have come so far that we have recognized the day, and our students and our profession is being recognized in such a way, and it's giving visibilities to students that this is a career opportunity. I think it's absolutely stellar, and I'm extremely proud of it. And I'm proud of all of you that are in this course and in this class and is following the tourism and hospitality stream, because I know it is a very rewarding career, and it is financially rewarding, and I mean that. So please, I encourage you to pursue this.
Well, we certainly want them to follow your lead as one of the top leaders in the profession. And I think the best way to do that is to have them contact you or your office. And we have a couple ways to do that right here. So everybody get your phones out, take pictures, or get your pen and paper out and write this information down. And I would imagine there's other ways that people can reach you, other social media avenues, or see you at your favorite restaurant.
Well, if they're in Chicago, they can certainly come to my favorite restaurant. But these are all the ways that they can reach me. I personally, I would absolutely, if they reach out to me, I will absolutely reach back out to you. If I'm absolutely swamped, someone will reach out to you on my behalf, but I do try my best to reach out to you. I know how important this is to our future as an industry, and I want to make sure that all of you that are entering into this industry are having an opportunity to be successful. I know you will, and I just want to give you a leg up on it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you again, Sherrif, for being with us, the president and CEO of PCMA and SEMA. I know our paths will cross soon too, as it always does, and always unexpectedly. That's the best part, the fun part of the industry. And students, listen to this wisdom and take advantage of this now, because it will make a difference to your career and to your life. So thank you, and for being with us again. Happy International Hospitality Day 24, everybody.
Thank you, Deborah, and all the best, Grand Valley State University.